Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Odin 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, chin. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystems. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live for the OnChain Hour, and today's is going to be fantastic, guys, because there is a lot of stuff that we can learn from. All right, so the mantra stuff, the OM, we're going to get into that, right? We're going to get into I got a lot of stuff there. I'm going to explain to you what happened, what it is, and kind of what it's going through. We're going to get into that. Our boy Bob Bodily had an exploit for Odin, really sucked liquidity out and really smacked Odin in the face. But we're gonna get into that as well. We do have some really bullish stuff to look forward to as well. We do have the Dow Jones going up, so that means Bitcoin follows it, right? Bitcoin has always followed the Dow Jones, so we will see what that means for Bitcoin. We got some of the macro stuff to go over. Our boy Michael Saylor at it again. We'll get into that. And then the little guy, MetaPlanet, also following Michael Saylor's lead. We're going to go over the global M2 money supply and so much more, guys. I'm really looking forward to this one. So without further ado, let's bring our partner in, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How was your weekend? How you feeling? How's everything?
Weekend was decent. There's a I was having a little fun with the latest meme pad, launch pad in the Bitcoin ecosystem with FunkyBit. But then Sunday was just kind of like a freaking boulder falling on everybody with, in the entire space with Mantra, having that huge 95% decline. And then, like you said, our guy, Bob Bodily, going through some stuff with Odin. But this morning, Bitcoin's definitely handling, at least the mantra, because I would assume that was big enough to kind of have some after effects. Bitcoin's looking decent, and there's some catalyst and some good news in the headlines right now. Not overly good news, but definitely decent news. So looking forward to the rest of the stuff we've been talking about. Getting closer to QE, getting closer to catching up to the M2 supply. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. Like on my chart here, I'm seeing a lot of good things, right? Bitcoin up, the S&P 500 up, DXY down, right? I love seeing the DXY down, and I love seeing the Dow Jones up, right? So and then you got some stuff like Nvidia, also up at 1% today. Solana up, Ethereum up, so it's looking good. Tao's up, it's looking really good. for the crypto ecosystem. We'll see what this week brings, but let's kind of jump right into some news topics here. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average surged by 300 points following the U.S. government's decision to temporarily exempt certain electronics, including smartphones and computers, from new tariffs. But then we saw this get kind of brought back a little bit with semiconductors. I don't know, man. I'm just so tired of tariffs at this point, but it is what it is.
It's like seesaw, right? Back and forth.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we're good here. We're good. I mean, I do think that this was a positive thing, right? Because you're talking about products that are already expensive in terms of like the new edition iPhone. You know, they jack up the profits there. Do I think they could pull back? Yeah, absolutely. But even if they do pull back, then we're talking about probably a little bit more expensive with tariffs than what they normally would charge, right? So I think this was a good announcement, but then you talk about the semiconductors. I think that was very strategic though. And then you had Nvidia come out and say, hey, look, we're going to make the supercomputers that we produce from start to finish here in America. They came out with that headline, I want to say about 2 hours ago. And we already know that the chips are starting to be made here as well with that big warehouse in Arizona. So I think things are starting to come together with that industry, at least. We'll see though.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Apple pretty much load airplanes up and drive over or fly over iPhones, right, to kind of avoid the tariffs. But to your point here, for the first time, NVIDIA's AI supercomputers will be built entirely in the U.S., working with leading manufacturing partners to design and build factories. So they're talking about Arizona. They're actually talking about Texas as well, I'm hearing. So they're going to be putting in a lot of factories. They're going to be building these supercomputers here because they don't want that 25% tariff on top of it's just smart, right? And it's probably better for them as well, because I think a lot of the buyers are probably going to be American companies, right? You're probably going to see the Apples, the Teslas, the Microsofts, and so on and so on. It's these giant tech companies with AI, open AI as well, really being the ones that are actually going to be buying these, because they're going to be super expensive.
Yeah, I agree. And this is that, to me, that was a big headline, the fact that Nvidia came out and said that, right? So we'll see how many companies follow suit. But when you have the largest, pretty much like like physical tech goods company come out and say this, there's going to be more that follow. Apple's already making statements and doing things. So this is just the biggest headline for me to see this morning.
Yeah, 100%. 130 countries are now negotiating trade deals with the U.S. and the White House. So, to me, this was just the tariffs were just kind of get the negotiation started. Like, why couldn't Trump just be like, "Yo, like, we're gonna negotiate this"? So he had to like put this all in effect first, and then the countries have to knock on his door and say, "Yay, Mr. President!" I guess it gives you leverage, right, when they're coming to you.
For sure.
So. Goldman Sachs CEO expresses support for President Trump's efforts to renegotiate and strengthen U.S. trade. The same Goldman Sachs CEO came out last week and said we're headed to a recession. I don't know, man. These bank guys, I feel like they wake up every day and it's like they don't remember yesterday. It's just so funny to me, anyway.
Yeah, and these news media outlets are looking for headlines, left and right as well, right? So they need people to click, and a lot of them, know that like any news regarding Trump is like very clickable, right? And so a lot of those media companies still kind of put a negative twist on it. There's a couple that starting not to, but I don't know if he changed his mind or what, but maybe he thought it's like short-term pain kind of situation, long-term gain. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I just want them. I don't know.
Yeah, we need some consistent like positive news without like someone like crapping on everything. Yeah, I agree.
So your boy Mikey. Michael Saylor Strategy buys another 3,459 Bitcoin worth $285 million. He posted the tracker yesterday, so we all knew that Mikey was on the move. He didn't buy anything last week, but this week he came in. It seems like it's like an every other week thing at this point, right? So we got 1, 2, and just in the last, I want to say, couple months, he was just buying and buying and buying. So.
Yeah, I wonder why he skipped, but I guess every once in a while you gotta take some breaks, right?
Well, I mean, you can't get funding nonstop. But isn't it funny? We were just talking about last week how potentially he has to sell if the price gets to I mean, that was during the tariff craziness, and then the tariffs paused, and now he's like, I'll buy again. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Strategy now holds 531,000 Bitcoin, acquired for approximately 35.9 billion. So his average price right now is $67,000, which is still pretty good. I mean, he's still up about 20%, about 15% on his Bitcoin purchases so far.
Yeah, what was it? 67,000 is what his average is.
67. Yeah.
I mean, he obviously knows where it's heading, and so it's not a concern. I do think that like there's got to be a point where like he just slows down a lot, right? I mean, if we're at like right, like we're at $1 million. I mean, I don't think it makes sense at that point for him to keep buying. He's gonna have so much at that point. So
his company's gonna be like a $3 trillion company, though.
Yeah.
You know how easy it is to take a loan out when you're a $3 trillion company to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. I'm just saying. I don't think it'll ever stop. But it's awesome to see. It really is. That somebody's actually taking this. I mean, again, this is an experiment, right? I mean, he's the only one doing it besides like the literal guys like MetaPlanet. Stacks more Bitcoin with additional $26 million purchase. Now holds 4,525 Bitcoin, right? So it's like baby MicroStrategy. Still, they're just kind of seeing Mike and playing they want to be like Mike, right? So
yeah, and we'll see if GameStop kind of joins that little group there.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, let's talk about the global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. So global M2 has remained at an all-time high for 3 days in a row. This is a fantastic sign for what it signals and will be coming into risk assets 108 days. So this is a tweet by our guy Colin Talks Crypto. Shout out to Colin. If you don't give him credit for his stuff, he will come at you. So I just want to make sure that he knows that we're definitely giving him credit for sure on this, because this is his brainchild right here. So this is the chart, and I love this chart. As you can see, with the tariff stuff, we dipped underneath right here, and then we came blasting back up. So he's still saying that May 25th is when we're going to see this upward trend. But take a look up here. This is kind of what he's talking about here. We've just been on this tremendous spending spree. Countries are just adding more money into the M2 money supply. So the M2 money supply is the countries printing more money, the more money coming in to the entire supply of global fiat, right? So the global fiat is going up tremendously. I mean, we're at 144. I don't even know what this number even means, but I just know it's upward, right? So, I mean, okay. So this is the Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin would follow the M2 money supply, Bitcoin would be at 144,000 by August, with an amazing summer. Wow. I didn't look at it like that. That should be pretty insane. What do you think? Is this about to happen?
Where is? Oh, yeah, we gotta survive this little gap here. Yeah. I want it now. No,
it doesn't mean we can't. Like we front ran a few times before.
Yeah, and sometimes it does. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is higher than the M2 money supply, exactly like you're talking about last November, right through December. Yeah, look, I'm definitely looking forward to once. I guess that would be what the start of May. The start of May, saying May 1st,
May 25th.
No, May 1st, 2025 is what that says. Look at it.
Yeah, for sure. But then blast off is May 25th. So it does have a little bit of a lag there.
Yeah. So what is that? About 17 days from now. I think there's 31 days in April. Yeah. Maybe there's 16 days from now. So yeah, but look, it's a little volatile right there, right? We're about to go into a little volatility here. So hey, look, if this does follow the money supply, which guys, I mean, look at the chart here. Look at the chart. I don't want to bring up like the CPI thing, but like I mean, like look, this is literally you're almost tracing it. We
just had CPI too, right? Yeah. So I mean, it was wrong a few times. Maybe that was one time that wrong, and then we're back.
The one time that I call it out is wrong. Like I'd never use that data point resource as a resource ever until that one time. But anyhow, it looks like May could be a pleasant start to things, and I'm ready for it. I don't know about you guys, but dang, I'm ready for it.
And like the stuff today, like I spent like an hour and a half going over the OM mantra stuff, and I'm just like, this is bear market stuff. This isn't bull market stuff. So that's gotta next thing here. So your boy CZ's a snitch, bro.
Uh-oh.
Binance founder CZ gave evidence against Justin Sun as part of his DOJ plea deal. Wall Street Journal claims. If Justin Sun goes to jail for whatever reason, I don't know what kind of information CZ gave on him, right? But if he goes to jail, one, Tron could tank heavily. Two, Adobe Exchange could go under. And not to mention all the stable coins and stuff on Tron. This is dangerous territory to be in Tron right now. What do you think?
Well, I think Tron for sure would tank some, a decent amount. We saw what happened whenever there was speculation of the Telegram founder getting arrested by French authorities that like tanked. All the alts on Telegram or the Ton network tanked as well. But this is interesting though, because like that was what, like a year and a half ago, 2 years?
Yeah.
No, longer than that, because it was the deal. Like he went to jail for 4 years, right?
It was like September 2023 is when he got.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but like, since this new administration's come on board, like, who's been super friendly with the administration? Who's been like saying, "Hey, let's work together," basically, and like, here's a donation to the World Liberty Fi. What was it like? I think it was like 20 million or something crazy. But yeah, I mean, he seems to kind of be trying to play his cards right, and maybe it backs people off of him a bit and stuff like that. We'll see.
I could see Justin Sun getting a plea deal, or not a plea deal, getting a pardon potentially. I mean, he's done a lot with World Liberty, you know what I mean? Like, and everyone in crypto, we didn't know the rules, right? So I see you can say that. I mean, there's no rules. There's no rules. So
and no one thought CZ was doing what he was doing in terms of like the laundering or whatever that he was charged for, right? So like from the outside perspective, he looked like the golden child, right? Like he was like, he's the one who ratted out FTX, right? Good guy ratting out a bad guy. But then you find out a little bit more underneath behind the curtains, right? And so I think a lot of these people, and except for us, no, but like a lot of these people, like seriously though, like behind the curtain, you never know. And I really do hope that like that kind of stuff does get ironed out, because like, man, it's not a good feeling whenever someone comes out and they've been doing all this stuff and you find out about them.
100%, man. Miles Dutra had a really amazing tweet here. He says, BTC's hash rate continues to explode at new highs with price going sideways. So he has a chart with this as well. And this is something I like to I'm glad people like him tweet about this stuff, because like I wouldn't see it unless they did. But as you can see, this is the black one is Bitcoin's price, and you can see for the first time pretty much ever, hash rate has passed Bitcoin. So we've seen it almost happen in October of 2024. But Bitcoin actually kind of pushed up. So every time it's gotten close, Bitcoin said, nope. This is the first time hash rate has completely just passed
crossed
Bitcoin's
it.
Price. Yeah. So either Bitcoin's getting ready for a huge move here, or we might see some miners start turning off their miners soon.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at November and December of 2024 is whenever that M2 money supply started to really come out. And you can see it's on the right of October right there. So that it touched, right? So it got kind of close there. So maybe, but it's definitely overextended right now for sure. But we are all expecting it to tail the M2 supply. So I think it catches up here here in the next couple of weeks. This
is telling me, though, the miners are expecting it too.
Yeah,
you're not going to keep adding. I mean, miners are $16,000 a piece, right? And you probably need like 10,000 of these to move hash rate. Like, so it's probably something really expensive. So they're betting on Bitcoin right now, and I don't blame them, honestly.
Yep.
Kraken launches commission-free trading for 11,000 U.S. stocks and ETFs, now live in select states. So Kraken has joined the Robinhood game. Not only are they doing crypto, which would be amazing, we get some commission free on Kraken, because Coinbase is way too expensive. And even I use Cash App to go in and out. That's even 1%, right? So it still sucks. I would love for them to get zero commission on Bitcoin, because that would be lovely. But hey, they're said, hey, we're gonna compete against Robinhood now.
Yeah, and you make a good point. You wish that could cross over to crypto, and I think eventually it probably does, because you think about like what you're always looking for, your edge against your competitor, and that's where Robinhood found it. But they because of the regulations with privacy and data and stuff,
Mhm.
you know, that you opt in when you sign up for a Robinhood account. In the small fine print, you pretty much say, you know, you can have my data of trading
Yeah.
activity and stuff, and that's the kind of deal. That's how they were able to offer, you know, no commission, you know, commission free trades, is because they were getting paid by the citadels, these other, like, you know, market makers that want to know the trading activity. And like crypto doesn't have those regulations, so right now they, like, I'm sure all our activity, other than maybe the US based ones that probably try to do it just to, in case, you know, it's just given to these market makers. They have all our data, trading data. So I think if regulations come in, maybe that's one thing that they come in and say, hey, look, the data of each user's account that's theirs. They own that. And then we get the free trading, because now the market makers have to pay them, right? So that would be a good regulation, because at least, you know, you can choose to give your data or not away, but you can at least get free commission free trades in crypto. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know or not, but do you think Robinhood charges commission on Bitcoin? I never bought really crypto over there.
Probably not, but they,
Okay.
you know, they follow the regulation in terms of privacy. They probably just give the Bitcoin activity and stuff the same to like these other, you know, institutions that are probably trading crypto against us.
Yeah.
It's so.
I think so too. I think I think it's free, but we'll see. So this is actually shocking to me. This next thing, Bitcoin is actually less volatile than stocks right now. So people say, you know, I don't want to invest in Bitcoin because it's volatile asset. As you can see here, this is a 10-day annualized volatility of major assets, right? So Bitcoin's 70% volatile. The S&P is 77, and the Nasdaq is 85. Obviously, gold, oil, and iShares, which is bonds, are lower. But dude, like Bitcoin is less volatile than the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. Like these TradFi guys, they gotta start looking at Bitcoin now.
Yeah, it's you know, that was kind of my incoming opening statement, was about, like, you know, being a little bit shocked that like the ohm situation didn't affect
Yeah.
the, you know, Bitcoin price and stuff like that. Bitcoin didn't flinch at all to that,
No.
you know, and it has been consistent. And it's, yes, like it has swung a little bit off of these tariff headlines, but not as bad as the stock market actually, and stuff like that. So they're absolutely right. It's becoming less volatile in terms of, you know, being stable. Uh, if we can get the headlines to become stable,
Yeah.
then I think it becomes volatile on the upside, like Bitcoin
Yeah.
does, you know, because like it's waiting for a breakout, but it can't have that breakout to the upside until we get stability in the headlines. And hopefully we start to get that.
Yeah, 100%. And the last thing here before we get into the fear and greed is SEC delays decision on staking component of Grayscale Spot Ethereum ETF. It doesn't look like Ethereum really care about this right now, because the price is up 3.9%. I mean, it was up 4.5%, so maybe it came down a little bit from where it was. But how do you feel about the SEC kind of delaying this? I kind of feel like they want to do them all together. The SEC, kind of like what they did with the Bitcoin ETFs, if they do the spot ETF, they want to do it for all, let's say 9 of them that exist, all the ETFs for Ethereum anyway, instead of just doing one by one by one. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that theory, but I don't think that's why they did this. I think they
Okay.
did this because they probably don't have the regulation like down for what staking would mean for like an
Gotcha.
ETF, right? And they're not going to be the only one that applies for a staking component of Ethereum ETF. There's going to be multiple companies. So
Yeah.
this makes way more sense to say, okay, we just got to make sure that this is like perfect. Like we don't want to approve something and have to go back and then change it. So all the Ethereum spot ETFs that want staking are probably going to get approved at the same time, or they'll say this is the rule for that, and then now everybody can apply.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin or crypto fear and greed here. So last month we were at a 46. Last week we were at a 23. Yesterday we're at a surprisingly 45. And where do you think we are right now? My hint for you is we're on the low side of the 30s, because I don't know how to give you a hint, but very low side of the
33.
31. Pretty good guess though.
Okay.
So we're right there, still in fear. Yesterday, was that surprise? This is the first time I've seen this, honestly. I had no idea we're at 45 yesterday.
Well, I think it was Saturday evening, right? So you get that score the night before, and then yesterday's score comes out, and so you're talking about, like, I think it was kind of pumpy on Saturday, like heading into the night of Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me see what the price was here. Yeah, it was. It actually at 7 p.m. Central, so 8 p.m. your time, we got to 86. So that's why. And then
Yeah.
Sunday was kind of that bleed out with a bit of a kind of, pull back up, but after they were able to grab the score for Sunday. So it kind of pulled back up to 85 after you got the score. So that's why we have the 31s, because they probably
Yeah.
scored that around when the Bitcoin was at 83, and it was like kind of crashing a little bit. So makes sense.
Yeah, man. 100%. All right, let's hop into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Autura.finance. Autura, they're doing big things, guys. So right now, you guys can play with their testnet. It's Botanix testnet. You guys can go over there right now. You can do a trade on Tau, which is awesome that they have BitTensor, XRP, and Ethereum. You can do Bitcoin as well, but I highly recommend doing the other three. That way, you can kind of get put into the raffle system. You can actually get more rewards for that. I want you guys all to be in the raffle system. I want you guys all to go over there. But the big thing with them is they're gearing up for their mainnet launch. They're actually launching on Hemi. If you guys don't know, Hemi is actually backed by Binance Labs. This is absolutely amazing because Hemi doesn't have a token yet. And potentially, Hemi's going to have to give a token because they're backed by Binance Labs. Binance wants a token. So I highly recommend you guys, when it goes to Hemi, to start playing on Autura. Small money, maybe some low leverage type of trades, but that'll actually get you the Autura airdrop and the Hemi airdrop. This is double dipping here, guys. This is absolutely amazing. And I want our community here at OnChain Revolution to get this free money. It's free money. Farm it, guys. Multiple wallets, multiple trades. I want you guys to get this, and using Autura.finance, they're 100% open to farming this. I want you guys to get it more than anyone else. But I appreciate you guys and taking the time out to check out Autura.finance.
Yep, exciting stuff there. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, please share this space for us so we can educate, onboard as many people to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. Same thing for the abstract side, for our abstract community there. Please share the stream. We greatly appreciate that. Let's get into some Bitcoin price action here. I am using Trading View here. I'm going to pull your screen down and pop mine up here. All right, cool. All right, let's get into the hour chart here. I thought we were going to have more of an aggressive pullback because of the Ohm news and all those things, but like it was a little weird. We did have this red candle to start the day. This is the hour chart. And so at that 9:30 Eastern bell, we pulled all the way back down actually with the wick down to 84, and then only to pull all the way back up to hit 85, almost 86, 85.8 to be exact. Now we're back down. So what's going on? What do we want to do? Bipolar here a little bit this morning. We're sitting here at 84,600. So honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm not like, I expected, like I said, much more of an aggressive pullback. We definitely are heading towards the oversold territory with a score of 37 on the stochastic RSI. Crossing that 20-point line will get us there, and we will get there. I mean, no matter what, like there's always going to be swings, right? So I don't think it's going to be aggressive though. Like you said, in some of the TradFi guys are saying Bitcoin is becoming more stable to, some of this crazy news, right? The MACD looks like it's a bit exhausted on the buy pressure as well. So probably coming out of this looks weird. Looks almost kind of like teeth. It's like up and down here. But yeah, it doesn't definitely, when you see this blue line kind of go the opposite direction, you're probably going to get out of that pressure, whether it's buy or sell. And that's what it's showing here. You can see the blue line kind of wanting to go down. So we'll probably, go down a little bit further. I wouldn't be shocked if we get to 83.5, maybe low 83,000. Nothing, in my opinion, to worry about unless there's a huge negative headline that comes in. And even then, like I said, Bitcoin has been pretty consistent with being able to handle that type of news as of late. So yes, I do expect choppiness with the downside, maybe get to that 83.5 for the second half of today. I'm going to pull out of here and get into the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart is definitely trying to figure out what it wants to do here, right? You can see this is very minimal weak sell pressure that we've been in for the past, I would say, probably 16 hours. about 16-20 hours here, but it has made an abrupt turnaround since we had that big red candle on the 1 hour. So again, probably see some choppiness with the downside of 83.5, 83,000 around there, but I don't think we go into full blown sell pressure on the 4 hour, but we could if the short term time frame, the 1 hour time frame does get aggressive to the downside, but I don't really see that happening here. You can see there's been multiple attempts on the 4 hour chart. It's just not really getting there, but that doesn't mean we can't, because you can see that has happened before where there's been attempts and then you get to a big aggressive sell down. With that being said, I do think that that the rest of today is going to be choppy with a little bit of downside. So we'll see what the 4 hour plays out, because the 4 hour gives us more of a two-day forecast. So far, I just think we're just going to kind of swing back and forth, right? So we get to that 83, tag that, possibly work our way back up the second half of the day in terms of like closer to the night, evening time. So that is what I'm seeing there. Let's get to the weekly chart, which is one that I have said is very important for Bitcoin, because we definitely don't want to start forming weekly candles underneath the 50-day EMA, which is this channel with the purple lines here. We have finished back above the 50-day EMA, so that's a good sign. This is really good. We definitely want to continue up. You know what? That's my fault. We didn't. We did finish below it. This is the candle for this week. We're starting above it. So if we can finish this above it, that is going to be good news. And I think that we have some really bullish catalyst to look forward to. Whether that takes a week and a half, 2 weeks to get to. So probably some choppiness around here, though. If we finish below this is fine, as long as we don't finish below here. That is the danger zone, right? That I keep bringing up, that happened in January 2022. But I feel like we're very far from this type of environment, which is the start of a bear market, a full-blown bear market. And I think we don't see something like that probably until 2026. But you still want to have that confirmation and conviction to stay above here. So looking pretty decent. You can see the indicators as well. The MACD is getting weakened here. So, once we start to see this curl up, which will probably happen in May, once that money M2 it gets on track with that M2 money supply, this will start to curl up here. We'll be out of oversold territory, and I think we'll have a good summer and leading into that fall that we talked about on that M2 money supply chart, right? And then we'll probably hang out up here for a while. You know what I mean? Because you have to remember too, on the indicators for the weekly, you usually hang out in one area for a long time, because these candles are weak, right? So we could be up here until the end of the year once we get here. And so that would be ideal there. So I like where we are right now on the weekly. That's for sure. Oop, don't want to pull that up. And then this chart here is the weekly for the others, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 major blue chips in crypto. And kind of same thing. It's following Bitcoin, right? So we just need Bitcoin to follow the M2 money supply. Then the alts will hopefully, get really aggressive, come out. I'm not worried about this, because alts have been just getting their butt kicked all year. So the fact that we're below this 50-day EMA channel is okay, because I do think once we get into some sort of alt season, this is going to get hyper aggressive, and we'll kind of fast track back above it. Bitcoin has just been stronger. We know that from the dominance chart from Benjamin Cohen, every day talking about it. But like I said, when alt season actually starts, this will fast track, in my opinion, and we'll get above this 50-day EMA pretty quickly. So I think we're good there. And the last thing I want to go over, I know I just talked a lot, but is the crypto bubbles here, which the hour chart actually doesn't look great. You see this OM bubble here down 17.6%. We know why, because of that 95% decrease yesterday. But let's look at the daily. The daily, Fartcoin just, being consistent with what Fartcoin does, and it's be green the past weeks. And anything ETH is up 4.3%. So that's a good thing to see, right? Yeah, but other than that, you see ICP down 3.6%. Tau is actually down 1.4%, which is interesting. But yeah, last thing here is the weekly. What looks good though? God dang, Fartcoin up 80% on the week. Crazy. Yeah, so this looks pretty good week over week, and You see Cardano ADA over here, ADA up 13.2%. You see, man, remember Flare? That's so
XRP, right?
well, it was supposed to be. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be like their like chain to kind of do a lot of DeFi stuff. This was back in early days. Ondo up 20%, which probably ate a lot of market share from Ohm because Ondo is actually shining now because they were pretty much the top two talked about RWA assets. And then you have Chainlink up 15.5%, and Tal on the week is up 25.6%. So it's okay to be down on the day. But that's what I'm seeing, guys. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, man. I'm here for green 100%, dude. That Farcoin kind of leading the way. You see Helium up 49%. Helium is another RWA play, right? It's kind of like the mobile
Solana, right?
Gives you that. Yeah, it's on Solana. It's giving you that mobile type of cell phone type of stuff there. It gets the places where you can put something on your house and that you actually earn HNT for giving signal to the network and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of stuff's up. Aptos, like you said, Floki. I mean, it's looking really good. I'm really thinking we're going to continue this. The reason I love this so much, this goes at Bitcoin dominance. We need Bitcoin dominance to come down. We need stuff like Sonic to go up 21% like it has today. HNT, AVAX up 22%. This is what you want to see if we want to get into that bull market. This is like the laggards really coming alive here.
Yeah, I agree. So I love to see the bubble charts green on the weekly. That is a good sign.
Yep. All right, let's get into that roll call on this show. First is first, and if you're the first comment of the day, and today it is my man Webdro. Shout out to Webdro. First time in a while, bro. I was actually looking. You haven't won since May 25th. Congratulations to you. You had 13, and then Danny had 12, 13, 14, and then 15, and then you came right back and got your 14th. Congratulations to you. But guys, this is anyone's game, man. So if you don't know what this is, at the end of the year, December 31st, after the show, we're going to give away a Bitcoin frog. Right now, that frog is valued at around $800. Who knows what it's then? It could be $8,000 by that time, right? And all you got to do is be the first comment of each day, right? So, but there is a thing called the Reaper. We didn't make them. YouTube did. YouTube, for some reason, destroys the first comment. I mean, destroys comments every now and then. I don't know why. We haven't been able to figure it out yet. But it doesn't happen all the time. It happens once, we say, twice a month, 3 times a month. It's not.
Yeah. It used to be more frequent for sure.
It did. It 100% did. And now it's kind of looked like it's calming down a little bit. But congratulations to Webdro. You, sir, are absolutely amazing. But we did have a super chat in here. We got my boy Mo Chains. Shout out to Mo Chain in here. He says, our big brother Bob got hacked. Oh, I feel for him. Yeah, I mean, I heard his voice. We're going to get into that later. But his voice today on the spaces was it really made me sad for sure. But shout out to Mo Chain. Thank you for the $6.99 in euros, man. Really appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the super chats. They're awesome. And then number 2 spot today, we got my boy Matt. Shout out to Matt at number 2. He was actually 2 minutes away from Webdro in that first spot. So shout out to Matt. Malam Yuri right there. Came in like 20 minutes later. Shout out to Malam. Congrats, Webdro. Fake pump or legit? What do you say? Fake pump or legit?
Legit. I think it's legit, yeah. but we might have a fake dump come up, before that May 1st. But don't get shaken out by that. We just went through a bunch of dumps, so you can handle one more dump.
I don't think anyone's getting shaken out at this point, right? I
mean, right?
The people that are here, for sure. Lackey Lukey, shout out to you, my friend Danny Boy. It's our guy, man. Shout out to Danny Boy. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, he loves me and I love you. Shout out to Mr. Hanky. What is Billy Cat? Billy Cats were running last week, dude. I looked at it. They were up like 300%.
Yeah.
They got really low though, but coming back on Billy comes back. Shout out to I equals X. I love it, man. It's your first time making roll call. Appreciate you. Let's flow and go. Let's flow and go. I like that. I'm gonna start saying it. Thank you. Chief Axel is here. Moon Yacht Club. Shout out to the Moon Yacht Club in here. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Merlin's lucky. A lot of new people. Shout out to you guys. He says you must be shapeless, formless, like water. When you pour water in a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Bruce
Love
Lee.
it.
I think that's what you're going for.
Yeah. Merlin's lucky knows the deal. The great Bruce Lee was where we got the title for the show from. So good job on that.
Yeah, man. WebJoe says when you pour water in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can drip it. It can crash. Become like water, my friend. Bruce Lee. Shout out to WebJoe. Shout out to you guys. Glass Hopper with a yo. Why? How? Loop. Flow stay activated. All right. Flow stay activated. We got a lot of new people in here, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ordinals Magic. Where are you guys coming from? I am very happy to see Seek Internal. Shout out to you guys, man. Fluid tokens. I love it. A lot of new people in here. Awesome. And then Right Up Smile. Thank you so much for being here. Mempool Punk. That's one of our legends here. Appreciate you, my friend, here every single day. Nighthawk every single day, buddy. GM. Me and Danny Boy are teaming up to add our points together. Sorry, Nighthawk, but you got like 2. But that's really nice of you. That's really awesome. But no, I'm just kidding. Shout out to both of you guys. Danny Boy and Nighthawk team up. That's the name of the person here. I love it. Absolutely
Super
love
mod
it.
team.
It's on now. Send it. Super mod team. Yo, you guys are awesome. Awesome. Stevie J is here. Super fan every single day, man. Appreciate you, my friend. Timer Tuber here every single day as well, man. You're someone who came in and just here every day, man. We appreciate your comments and you being here. Superfan says, saw that a 100% US built iPhone would cost $4,000 and years reciprocate the supply chain. They use 100% suppliers in China, 100 plus suppliers in China. The narrative of moving to US easily not real, especially for chips. Yeah, but I mean, iPhone is what, 1,700? So yeah, it doubles. It's not like it's going from like 400 to 4,000. But then you got to remember how many jobs you're creating. Maybe I got to pay a little bit more for my iPhone, but at the same time, how many jobs am I creating in the US?
Yeah, and I think that they know that it's not something they can snap their fingers and next week there's going to be warehouses with it. And most of the manufacturing is going to be robotics anyways. You're going to have new jobs for people, but not like people that are thinking that everybody's thinking there's going to be just warehouse full of like a sweatshop or something. No, that's not not what this administration is thinking, guys. But I do agree. Obviously, there's logistics, and that logistics is not going to be. But I will say they did commit to building. They've already broke ground for the warehouse in Arizona, so it's happening. Whether it works, how quickly, we'll see.
Yeah, it might take years for them to actually get up and running, but still, it's still better than just depending on China, right? Even if we do have to make the iPhones and cost them $4,000, it's still better than like a trade war where we get kind of locked out of China, period, and then we get nothing. You got to at least start moving stuff here, even if it is costly. Patty Poo says, sup. Patty Poo says, snitches get stitches. Yo, CZ, Patty Poo's coming for you, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Timer Tuber says, thoughts on what happened to yes, we're gonna get into that. Actually, just right at the roll call. S says GM from Bells. MoChain says, or he got sloppy and used a weak wallet on his Odin's accounts. Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. Danny Boy says, oh, shoot. Nighthawk really did that. He did, man. He did. Timer Tuber says, wait until you see me to be the first comment on your next live. Ooh, Timer Tuber says he's coming in. He's getting his first win of the year. Shout out to Timer Tuber. And then our boy Superfan says, true. Agree with you guys. Not trying to flood. No, I mean, we got to start building in the US, right? Like, if you saw what happened in 2020, we were completely caught off guard. We didn't even have masks. Like, we didn't have anything, right? Like, the supply chain was wrecked. So I think we need to start at least a little bit.
I think there could be there can be a cordial, like mutually beneficial business relationship between both countries, and I think that's what it eventually comes to. It's not right now. Both sides are just playing hardball, but there does need to be manufacturing. I agree to an extent to where it makes sense, efficiently, all those things, right? So,
yeah, 100%. All right, the next thing here is the story of the day is OM just nuked from 6 billion to 400 million in 3 hours. So that happened yesterday. It did bounce back up to things like 700 million, right around there. But since we were at Ordinal Revolution for a long time, I kind of neglected a lot of these other coins on these other chains. So I remember Mantra. I remember it was on Polkadot. But when I started digging in this morning, I was amazed at the history this thing has been through. So I'm going to run through it real quickly, and I'll get your comments here when we get to the hack. But okay, so the OM token associated with Mantra project was initially launched as an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain in 2020. In October 2024, Mantra introduced its own Layer 1 blockchain. Mantra was initially developed within the Polkadot ecosystem. Launched in October 2020, Mantra, formerly known as Mantra DAO, began as a DeFi project built on Rio chain, a substrate-based blockchain. So substrate is the technology that Polkadot uses. When Mantra explored integration with Polkadot's parachain architecture, it did not secure a parachain slot on Polkadot's relay chain. So how Polkadot's relay chain worked is you had to bid a certain amount of Polkadot and to get the slot. So you had to lock up a certain amount of Polkadot, and no one knew what the other people were bidding. And it was kind of like a silent auction, and they were never able to secure a slot. People kept front running them. So instead, the project shifted its focus, and in October 2024, launched its own Layer 1 blockchain known as Mantra Chain, built using Cosmos SDK. So Mantra Chain is a Layer 1 blockchain built using Cosmos SDK, focusing on tokenization of real-world assets such as real estate, commodities, and financial instruments. All right. So any questions so far?
No,
Okay.
I read up on that as well, so kind of knew what they were doing. And
Awesome.
you actually updated me on their journey before the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to make sure I was like, for the audience, I think I got pretty much what they are, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty
okay.
much.
So prior to the crash, significant amounts of OM tokens were transferred to a centralized exchange. Notably, a wallet linked to Mantra team deposited 3.9 million OM tokens into OKX. So this token was valued around $7 each.
Yeah.
So we're talking insane amount of money here. So raising concerns due to the team's control of nearly 90% of the total supply. So the team had 90% of the supply, and they just sent an insane amount to OKX. So it's hard to say for sure if the tokens were sold on OKX because centralized exchanges don't show exactly what happens after the wallet's deposits. So Mantra's co-founder, JP Mullen, has denied that the team sold any tokens during the crash, which makes you think, then why send the tokens to begin with? Mullen claims the OM token crash was triggered by reckless forced closures by centralized exchanges during low liquidity hours on a Sunday evening UTC. Analysts have pointed to large OTC deals as contributing factor. Reports suggest that the tokens were sold at substantial discounts, up to 50% off to select investors. Mantra investors denied dumping OM before the crash, despite on-chain data showing that 227 million in OM moved to exchanges ahead of the collapse. So this is even before Mantra itself sent the Mantra. So there's just insane amount of OM coming to exchanges over the past couple of days. So what do you think about all this? And I actually have an image to kind of show that these were, these are wallets, and they were depositing, this is supposed to be the investors, right? Who said they're not going to sell these tokens that they bought half off, rushing to exchanges, in the last, 2 days.
Yeah, I agree with Timur Tuber here, who commented sus. I mean, why it's so close, like in terms of the event, right? So like you send all that. There was some people saying that I think there was the reason why the team had so much is there was supposed to be an airdrop or something, and
that
all
was the
these
rumor,
yeah. And then I did watch Cointelegraph's live interview with the founder. I guess it's JP Mullen, maybe his name is, one of the co-founders. And he said that like they were staking, and I don't know if that meant like on OKX or what, but he's like, you can go look at the wallets that are tied to the founders and they haven't sold and all this stuff. It just looks bad. I mean, it just looks really bad. And then also, I mean, typically like a large project like this, that your investors, right? And so like when you're giving an and the OTC deal, by the way, that's probably more common than people think. Like 50-60% or 40-50% discount, whatever. Like they get the deals because they're buying like large amount, right? But that like typically they will know their investors to where like, hey, it's obvious, don't crash the chart or whatever, right?
Or lock the tokens, right? If you're giving that much a 50% off, and you lock the token.
Yeah. And so that's why there's a lot of upset people. And Zach XPT says, you know, he's obviously jumps into any of these. He's been in a lot of conversations. He's like, you know, whether or not you think the Mantra team knew about these dealings to manipulate the price is up to you to decide, based on the information that they rushed to, you know, to kind of get that up. But like, you don't know if they sold any, and also you don't know if they didn't sell any with their wallets, and maybe there was some sort of deal, you know what I mean, to where. I don't know. There's just so much, and that's the problem with. That's still the problem that we have in the space, right?
Yeah.
There's no, you know, if this happened in TradFi, there'd be a full blown investigation already. You know, figuring out what's happening, and I think that's why he jumped on the interview with Cointelegraph, is to try to. They don't know how this administration is going to act, but even if like they think that they're going to be relaxed, this was so big that they want to. It sounded like they want to clear their name as founders.
Yeah.
From it this morning, and we're gonna see how this plays out, because I think we're all just still like in limbo, and it wasn't a hack. That's the thing. So if it wasn't an exploit like Bybit, I think that maybe the markets and charts would have crashed a little bit more from like a, you know, broad industry level. But because it was literally just like, you know, you want to call them insiders, you want to call them OTC people that got in pre-seed, whatever, that's what they caused, right? And but he's putting a lot of this pressure also on some of the centralized exchanges, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he's saying here. He's basically saying that the exchanges. So, you know what Mantra's biggest problem was, in my opinion? Their biggest problem was that they weren't transparent. If we were running this company and we were about to send, you know, potentially millions and millions of dollars to OKX, the first thing you do before you move that money out is put out a tweet, maybe do an interview, maybe send something to Cointelegraph and say, hey, we're about to send this much coins to an exchange, and what we're going to do is we're going to stake it there, right? The transparency. So this, you know, if this was true and this wasn't some, you know, I don't know, we wouldn't call this, I mean, no hack or anything. If this was complete neglect of it, like of expressing to the people who hold your tokens what you're doing, and that's first off stupid, and then the second off is we're going to find out anything anyway. So be transparent when you're doing OTC deals. Be transparent when you're about to go send tokens anywhere, and on top of that, to have 90% of the tokens and it's liquid.
It's the worst tokenomics. It was the worst tokenomics ever. And MoChain came in and says huge FDV, little coins in circulations. This was artificially pumped from the get-go, and I'm hearing more and more about this. And he says the circulating tokens at the start were not the native tokens. They started with ETH tokens, and then I guess they like did a bridging or whatever they did. But you know, but this kind of goes on top because like they were listed by Binance pretty quickly. So it does seem like this was like an artificially like, you know, induced pump, right? And what more of a project could you get people hooked, you know, hook, line, and sinker in than an RWA project that boasts deals with real estate in Dubai? You know what I mean? Like, right, the real estate in Dubai is actually like, if you go look at the houses in Dubai, dude, they look like American, like nice, like neighborhoods. Like they have a yard, they have like, you know, 2-story, nice huge swimming pool, backyard. So and people are moving there and living there and stuff. So like, it's just like the perfect kind of way to hook people. And then you have something like Ondo that's more like backed by BlackRock. Even if people hate BlackRock, at least like you're like, okay, they're not going to tarnish their name, probably, you know, coming in this early. So I don't know, man. This is the stuff that, and I hate to bring it back to a token like Dog, but like Leonidas that like always says that Binance is like listing crappy stuff, right? And I don't know. Do you think this was like they should have caught this? Binance should have caught this?
Well, I mean, they had a product, right? Like you can't blame Binance for listing this stuff, right? Because they listed this also in like, you know, the early in the year, the biggest RWA project. I don't think it's Binance's
Kraken.
Everything looked legit.
Kraken also launched it or listed it too.
Everything looked really legit with this, right? The fact that, you know, they're tokenizing real estate, tokenizing this, but like people are now coming out and saying they don't really have a product. It's all bullshit. So again, you know, if that's the case, then maybe these exchanges have a duty to the people to do better due diligence, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like these are the same exchanges that list Farcoin, right? So it's like you know what I mean? It's like come on, like
and brokers like TradFi brokers listed Nikola and stuff like that. They go
100%.
so we need better, in my opinion, better journalists, right? Because like in TradFi, what happened, you know how Nikola got exposed was a journalist. It's always a journalist, just like what was the girl Elizabeth that did the
no.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah,
She's from Silicon Valley. She went to Stanford. She like got like politicians to invest in it. As the, anyways, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, but always these journalists from like Bloomberg or something, they start knocking on the door and they're like, something's fishy. We need that type of journalism in crypto to catch the sniff out early, and we just don't have that yet.
Elizabeth Holmes, her company was Theranos. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. But yeah, 100%. Like this stuff does happen in TradFi too. It's not, it does. The fact that, Manager got the 6 billion with them holding 90%, maybe the holders of this should have not bought these tokens at such a high evaluation. I don't know. It does suck. It is a red flag in crypto, but it's not anything new. I mean, this is crypto, right? This is the riskiest area you can invest in. And, sometimes you risk, it does equal reward, but sometimes it goes the other way as well.
Yeah, where was CoffeeZilla on this?
He was sleeping, I guess, didn't have enough coffee yesterday.
Yeah, we need more investigative journalists.
He's too busy investigating the Huck girl.
Oh yeah, he only does like memes.
No, All right, ready to get to Bob Bodily?
Let's do it.
All right, so Bob Bodily's account was compromised, which sparked a major sell-off. Trading and withdrawals are currently paused as a precaution while they check if it's a bigger issue. So this was a tweet from Bob Bodily early in the morning last night, I think like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. for me. He said, Bob Bodily tweeted, "My Odin account was hacked, working on it. More info as soon as I can." And then this morning, he tweeted, he said, "To clarify, my Odinfun account, so far, not my Bitcoin wallet, still digging." He says, 9 hours ago, my main account was hacked, drained, and the funds withdrawn. We're currently investigating the exploit thoroughly. Withdrawals are paused to ensure no other accounts were compromised. We've seen every coin on there minimum do a 70% drop. What do you think is going on here? Do you have any other details potentially I missed?
Not from what you just broke down, because we both listened to that space with B Life earlier. It, to me though, because I was talking to somebody else in the space about this morning as we were prepping for the show, and I was just kind of, I feel like if you're going to like have a custodial, like Hyperliquid does in a sense, right? Like, yes, they try to paint this DeFi picture, but it's really centralized. And I mean, you're depositing literal USDC, right? And in this sense, you're depositing Bitcoin into like the platform. And so I feel like because you're from a scale perspective, you're dealing with like millions of dollars, not billions, and not hundreds of millions yet. I don't think Odin was, but like a significant amount for like a small community that's growing within Ruins. Like, I don't know why they're not using like proprietary like Web 2 software or something for security, like login for like any type of like, you don't hear about this kind of exploit stuff happening very like frequently, like with like Amazon and stuff. I know that's like jumping from like step 1 to like step 100, but like even like the smaller companies that are in Web 2, they use proprietary security software or whatever. It's like, if you're going to take that route, don't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because if you do, like, there's people that specifically wake up every day saying, hey, how can I exploit, this new platform? How can I exploit that new platform? Right. And I just think that if you're going to do custodial, because you don't hear about the centralized exchanges really getting exploited much, right? Yes, obviously Bybit, but that was, you don't hear Binance, you don't hear Coinbase, you don't hear Kraken, you don't hear about these things. In the Bybit one, I feel like was very like he could have double, triple, whatever, checked all that stuff. And so I just feel like that's what we got to go towards.
Yeah, 100%. And we got some comments here. Big B Sat says, "Bye, dog. Thank me later." He says, "Dog fixes those problems. Rug proof." He says, "Hot air rises through." And then Mo Chain says, "I assume something with B Life and Odin happened." So, from my understanding, and I'm looking at this from the outside looking in, is potentially, and this is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know how true this is. It's just my opinion. So our good friend Jake from Emma Vault, he had a Zoom call with somebody. He shared his screen. The hacker jumped on his computer because he gave access to the person on accident. The person downloaded malware, was able to extract anything on that computer. Right? He got into hardware wallets. He got into pretty much so many different places that were on that PC alone. So I'm assuming, and this is me guessing, something similar happened to Bob here because it does seem like it was only Bob's wallet. It was only that one wallet, from my understanding, that got sold down. There could be more. They're not giving any information if it is, but if it was this situation, like, you're not really set up for that to happen, right? You're not really someone to take it over your computer, download malware. Obviously, Bob should have had better security with that wallet. Bob should have maybe unhooked the wallet from the
Browser.
account, right? Because that's the only way, right? You can actually get access to the accounts if you connect your wallet. So saying your Bitcoin wallet wasn't compromised, he might have not had anything in that Bitcoin wallet, right? So you don't know if it was compromised or not unless he did have assets in there, which I don't know. There's not a lot of information, and I don't blame Bob for not really coming out. They're doing the investigation right now, right? And I'm sure like once they get a complete investigation, they figure out what's going on, they'll give us more information. Right. So that's just kind of, do you think something like that could have happened to Bob?
Yeah. But we won't know until they release the information. But I'm in the same boat as you, trying to figure out how something like this could have happened. And
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is because he said that his Bitcoin wallet wasn't compromised itself, meaning outside of the Odin platform, it was okay. But within the Odin platform, sell, withdraw. Like there's 0 coins if you go look at his account there. And to me, the only way that someone could not have access to the wallet itself, but be able to do this would be the auto connect was still together. There was a browser open still, and they were able to, control the PC from remotely or whatever, whether that's malware was downloaded and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. If this wasn't Bob, if we didn't know him, if we didn't know that he was a good person and he wouldn't do something like this, would you think in the back of your head that this was maybe
Planned?
the person just kind of planned and needed the money and withdrew that and just said it was a hack? Because it looked like it was only the one wallet that this hacker got pushed to. It wasn't really an exploit. It seemed to be the account got exploited. The account ended up holding $1 million on it right at one point. Do you think you would I don't know what the correct word is for say this was insider stuff here? I mean, at the end of the day, they're his tokens, right? He can sell them, withdraw it if he wants to.
Yeah.
But would you assume that this did not happen?
No, this causes way more headache. And also, like, you have B Life and Bob's name on the line here. I don't think to them that's not worth it. Right? If they're able to continually build up this platform for whenever it's bullish times in the fall for Q4, they make way more money on fees and whatever, right? Plus, if he's building not only this, but like an ecosystem of applications or whatever, because he was talking about adding an explorer and trying to decentralize it more. I just don't think
say
that
this was Jack Lou. Would you point the finger? If it was Jack Lou, would
Magic
you point
Eden
the
Jack
finger?
Lou?
No. Bitmap Jack Lou. Would you question it? No.
Don't say Bitmap Jack Lou. Say
I mean, it is Bitmap Jack Lou.
No. I would say it is. Anyways, I would Zach. I would be more like Zach XBT.
Yeah, I got you. Makes sense. All right, so my next question for you is: Odin finished, or can it stage a comeback? If so, what would it take?
I think they can come back from this, but it's going to be, tough. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to take, obviously, the big issue they gotta do or handle is winning the trust back from the community of users. And like you said, also, I know that you and I both think it was only his account that was affected, but once they come out and say that, I think that's gonna be a big relief,
Yeah.
right? And say, okay, they weren't able to, like, just through Bob's remote access everybody else stuff, right? So that's another big thing. And then also, you had mentioned this when you and I were just talking, but some sort of maybe like a kickback. I'm not sure how that would work though. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's one way of fixing this, right? You come out and say, hey, every Bitcoin that was deposited had no effect, right? This is, we have a multi-sig with this. No way that will ever get touched. My personal wallet got hacked or something like that, right? Come out and say that would solve problem A, which is making sure everyone is understanding what happened. The next thing would be to do an airdrop to everyone who held coins on the platform. If you held one coin or you held whatever, I would airdrop everyone. I would just do the token. I would do
Like
the
the Odin
token and just airdrop it and say, here you go, guys. Or give them all insane amount of points. Like everyone who held tokens is going to get the same amount of points for the airdrop. I'm going to put, you guys are going to be 100x your points to anyone who uses the platform. And then maybe incentivize deposits again. Incentivizing, hey, if you deposit this much Bitcoin, you're going to get 100,000 points or something. You're going to have to incentivize people to come back. And then what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to figure out a way to pump some of these tokens. You're going to have to figure, but if these couple things align correctly, Odin could be bigger than it ever was and really push the community to, hey, we showed you guys loyalty. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'll always be loyal to Magic Eden because of that Magic airdrop. And I think a lot of people think the way I do in that sense of, if you give back to me, if you make me feel good about this platform, I'll be a loyal customer and a loyal player for a long time.
Yeah. Probably why like Pump Fun gets so much shit too, because like they're like the ultimate greedy. Like you know what I mean? They get so much money they never give back. But like yeah, I agree that could work. But I also think that like if they make it through this, they need to upstep their fucking, like, just hire a full security team that's just fucking, you know what I mean? Like constantly, like, because if they rebound from this and there's another like situation within like 6 months to even a year, I think that's the last straw probably.
Yeah, and I think they got to figure out a way to be able to allow people to take it off the platform. Right now, the withdrawal and stuff is cool, but like I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, yeah, if Magic Eden went down, you have the same problem with runes. And he kind of got back to me. He was like, no, there's SAT flow, there's this, there's that. And I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. We need more dexes. We need more places to send that to transfer to maybe ICP or something. We need more places to kind of have off ramps and on ramps, right? It needs to open the platform up a bit as well.
Well, I think the problem with that is that there's no indexing outside of the system of the platform, right? And so your wallet technically doesn't show what you have unless you bridge out, right? And so for that to happen, there would need to be the rest of the ecosystem built out, and like whatever wallets are compatible would have to read your balance, whether you're using Odin or you're using another DEX, because that's the problem, is that like you won't be able to move it because your balance is connected to like this like software system that he has outside of your wallet.
But it's just APIs. So let's just say the number one DEX on ICP can just get Bob's APIs and now can see all the information, all the data, right? It's the same. It's really the same thing as just anything else. You just need the APIs to connect. They're all ICP in the back end, right? Yeah, maybe one's Valhalla, but I'm sure there's a way to kind of connect everything and index everything correctly.
But even if that were to happen, let's say that was set up, because I see where you're going with this, and it makes sense, except for the reason why he halted it. The reason why he halted it was because he didn't want any more exiting of Bitcoin from these thieves to continue. So let's say that there was another DEX, then if he has that ability to halt it, then he would still do it even if there was another DEX.
Well, that comes back to what you said about get your security up. You know what I mean? you know,
I agree.
get the security up so this doesn't happen.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So-
So, I mean, like in that aspect, right? That person that you were talking to, they're right in that sense of if you're gonna, and it goes back to what I was saying. Don't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out of like
Yeah.
this. Like if you want, even if you're trying to show that you guys are decentralized, like Hyperliquid, when you get caught in a situation like this, it just shows that it's not. It's all facade. You know, it's
Yeah.
all it's all fake, right? But like
Fugazi, fugazi.
but if you do what we just said, right, and that they have APIs that work with different dexes, then they're just gonna have to eat the fact that they can't pause it. You know, they can't hold it and stuff like that.
100%. All right, my next question for you is: with Odin getting disrupted, is this a good opportunity or a bad sign for the newly launched FunkyBit? We do know that with FunkyBit, you have to get USDC and you're depositing it. Same as Odin.
Yeah.
Does this what happened to Odin? Could this happen to FunkyBit as well? And should we be worried about that?
So yes, it could, because you're depositing the cash, right? So if you want to, I don't know if you want to withdraw, I think you probably have to do something similar to what Hyperliquid does. You click withdraw the amount and then sign it. Because of that, it's you don't have custody of that USDC at that moment, right? And so because of that, someone has access to your FunkyBit account, then it's the same situation with that. Now, I don't, once they launch on Arch and you're able to use your Xverse, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. If that, maybe they have the runes automatically in your Xverse wallet as Bitcoin runes. Maybe they have them as like an Arch token standard, but Arch will have enough applications and protocols, in my opinion, like Saturn, to where you could do whatever you needed to do. I think right now they're using this Hyperliquid style of deposit because one, it's easy. Two, it opens liquidity doors for base users to kind of come in too. So yeah, I mean, it's just you gotta be careful, man.
Does this kind of the Odin thing kind of maybe push you not to deposit money in, or because at the beginning of the show you kind of talked about you were kind of messing around with this a little bit. I would love to know your experience first, and then second, now that this happened with Odin, are you feeling a little bit wary about those funds that are in there?
No, because like nothing has really taken off that much here. I haven't done like a huge amount of deposit. I mean, I've done like a little decent amount, right? But it's really just try to have fun, even though it hasn't been too fun, because like just it's the first couple of days. And I remember people talking about the first couple of days with Odin too. Like I think Odin Dog went to like 1 million and then round trip to like 30K or something, and then like bounced back up, right? So it's kind of going through that like phase now. And so that you're in some of these early ones that will be probably like Odin Dog and Odin Cat. But anyways, outside of that, like it's they need to update some stuff, like how many total holders there are, and a couple of different details, and be able to have the mobile versions, very important, and they don't have that ready yet. So but do they have an opportunity right now? Sort of. But you do have to deposit here too. It's custodial. The only difference though is that like there was an issue on Odin before. Someone had gotten there was, I don't think they hacked anything, but there was a bug within the code that gave this guy like a lot more Bitcoin than he deposited.
Yeah.
And said that they couldn't track that, right? So with FunkyBit, you kind of get a fresh start, like. And they're using EVM, so they like you see Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid hasn't really had any issues except for one that wasn't a hack. You can maybe call it an exploit just because it was more of a mechanism of really smart ass couple people that were able to figure out. Well, yeah, that's what we all think. but was able to like do some weird stuff that if you're Hyperliquid's team, you're like, this guy's weird. He's shorting and he's taking like a spot long. Weird, right? So because the EVM side hasn't had any type of break like into the accounts yet, that could happen though. It could happen. Who knows?
I mean, they're using a deposit system, so like, who knows if they're even using EVM? Right? You don't have to. You can use
Yeah, I am assuming because it works. I've used Hyperliquid and
Okay.
FunkyBit, and it's almost exactly the same.
Gotcha.
It is
Okay.
exactly one is USDC Arbitrum, the other one is USDC Base.
Okay. I gotcha. It makes sense. Yeah. So, what was your experience on here so far? I know you already kind of got into it, but like, so we've seen a lot of tokens getting momentum, and then the founder comes out and drops Grandmaster Funk, and it takes all the liquidity out. It was like Trump jumping into Solana. And
Dude,
taking
it
all the
was.
liquidity out.
It was like that. It was dude, it was just like that, way scaled down, of course, but yeah, that was kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Could you explain what happened?
Yeah, so okay. There's let's see. I think there's probably one here. I can show, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tokens that have bonded, right? Out of the 7, there's probably like 3 or 4 that have been consistent. You kind of feel like there's some cabal energy around some of them. Like you know, Misa definitely feels like if you look at their X account, like Arch Networks following them, like the founder Andrew, the founder of Arch, some big names are following Farmer Joe, following Misa. So that one seemed like one, and then you have like a whole nother one with Kip, the delusional cat. That was like this. They're being more aggressive as like a cabal doing it, and so there was momentum kind of built up, right? And like Funky Monkey was the first one, and it was like got to like 1 million something, and all of a sudden like you see this token called Grandmaster Funk just shoot up like bond within, you know, like minutes, right? And then it shoots up to like 1 million, and you're like, what is this? And then some people are like tagging him because it's showing that like Andrew, the founder, launched it, and they're like, is this yours? It's showing under your account. He's like, yeah, I did this for the M Funkers, I think is what he calls them. And it literally like the market caps went down for every other coin by like 50, 60, 70%, and all went into Grandmaster Funk, right? And then you're sitting there, and it goes to like 2.6, I think, or 7 million, and you're just like, oh my gosh, everything's getting annihilated, like just crushed, right? And so I just like, this is weird. It just didn't feel, it felt dirty a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's a free market, so everybody do whatever they want, you know. And you have to remember when Odin launched, it was by referral only in the beginning, and Odin Dog was already launched then. So there was a lot of people that couldn't get into Odin Dog and Odin Cat and Satoshi or whatever, the ones that Bob launched as well. So, you know, it's I guess fair game, just didn't feel very clean, I would say. But hey, look, it's the platform itself runs pretty quickly, and you know, I do think that like you get in some of these early, you will have those Odin Dog, Odin Cat, you know, Satoshi opportunities here.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. One thing that really made Odin successful was the Chinese communities. Are you seeing any Chinese communities over here on FunkyBit yet?
Yeah, I am. You can see in the comments too. So that is one thing that they did kind of mimic Odin with. They have the comment section, right? So is that Funky Monkey?
This is Funky Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. Yeah. I mean, look in the comments. It's all Chinese.
Yeah.
So the Chinese are definitely here.
Do you think the Chinese have left Odin and came here?
I haven't noticed like an injection into like the market caps for that, for me to say that, but I will say like it's going to be interesting because what the Bitcoin community first is a huge deal, right? And so Funky Monkey was the first token that was launched, and right now, like I said, it got past like 1 million something, and then now it's down to 300,000. But then like you have the Grandmaster Funk, which was the first founder token that launched or whatever, right? So it's gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, let's get to our final topic here. Runes saw monster gains last week after Magic Eden acquired Slingshot and launched BTC tokens on the platform. Well, they're going to be launching the BTC tokens on the platform. A small sell-off hit, but can the momentum continue? So let's kind of jump over to Magic Eden here. What do you think off the top? Do you think we potentially could see continue momentum here on the runes?
I do, but we might have a pause that lasts for a little bit until, you know, the total environment gets a little bit more bullish. right? And I don't know if they're gonna wait on Slingshot to you know, for market conditions to get better. I posted about, I posted a poll about, hey, I said, will Slingshot be the catalyst for Bitcoin Rune's adoption, right? And 85% say yes out of 66 votes, 15% say no. But then Slingshot comes in and says yes. Oh, no, it was in that same poll, Ness commented on there, talks about, depends if Magic integrates it on the site, which I agree with. I said yes, and they have the Robinhood opportunity here because Slingshot does have that kind of like with their app. And then I said also if they market it correctly, Bitcoin tokens, like it could be like the onboarding of normies opportunity of the cycle. Because like if you're a normie and you're like, I don't like messing with memes because like I talked to some people and they're just like, but if you see Bitcoin tokens, then that could attract somebody and say, oh, okay, well, I miss Bitcoin. Maybe I'll get into one of their secondary tokens.
Yeah, and then you're seeing people like Wendy O. You're seeing people like Dan from Cardano, who has 300,000 followers. They talk about dog a lot, right? They talk about the number one rune over here, which is dog. And dog's been fluctuating between I want to say right now it's at 146 million. I mean, it got to almost $1 billion. I think did it cross? I'm not sure if it crossed or not, but it got pretty damn close.
What, to $1 billion?
That $1 billion, yeah.
I think it did on MEXC or something, another exchange.
So yeah, and then we're seeing, you're seeing dog now on Solana, you're seeing dog on Cardano, you're seeing dog many places. Potentially you're going to see some staking opportunities in different places as well. So I truly believe that, maybe a lot of people got into it as soon as they heard the news and it was trading opportunities for them. They get in it and then they're taking profit here. And I do think that this is a great buying opportunity. Do you agree with that? Do you think right now, with Billy down 11% on the day, Magic Internet Money down 12%, Dog down 4%, and then you got Pups down 3%, is actually some really good buying opportunities here?
Yes, I do think so. I for me personally, I think like the top probably like 4 communities that like every time there's a resurgence of runes, they're always back. They're one of the first. So you have Dog, Billy, Pups. So I think Gizmo's strong. It's a derivative of Pups, but it still has that strength, and I think it will do well. But Magic Internet Money is going to be in there, not top 4. And it hasn't always been there, but Wizard has proven much success as a VRC20, and Magic Internet Money is going to be one of the top 4. And I feel like those 4 kind of will lead the way, with some of these other ones benefiting immensely. And we got to see too, like we're in a crazy environment. Let's say we're in a crazy environment. Slingshot's killing it. By the way, Vector's coming behind it right now saying, yes, Bitcoin, meme coins, and Moonshot, which by the way is Slingshot's 2 biggest competitors, right? So now you have 3 apps that act like Robinhood. And if they're both on this Bitcoin tokens, then the centralized exchanges have no choice but to eventually, list some of these and, really jump on this marketing train of Bitcoin meme coins, Bitcoin tokens. And then you got like, Sats Terminal, which we're going to have up in a second, but like, they're aggregating all of it, right? So, people are underestimating the fact that like there's seeds that are being like sprinkled everywhere in the crypto industry for runes. It's because they move slowly before. And one thing I will say though, Magic Eden, if you're listening, get rid of the fucking listing way you do that shit. Like, please integrate like either Sats Terminal as like your main swap, or integrate like Slingshot or something. Just get rid of that, because it does nobody any good long term.
You still need it. I mean,
you gotta you gotta have it for like the ones that aren't like huge. I know, but like, it kills market cap so much when things. But hey, we won't have to worry about it if things are bullish. So
let me ask you a question: if you're going to buy runes today, where would you buy them at?
If I was going to buy runes today,
I'll give you a hint. It's
Sats Terminal. Yeah. They better be giving me the cheapest prices and the cheapest fees. No, just kidding.
All right, guys. It's this point in the show. We are lucky enough to have the guys from Sats Terminal here. We got Stan, we got Rakash. These guys, we met them in Nashville, and I was blown away by the other project they had. And then they kept in touch, and they showed us Sats Terminal. I want to say months ago, right? And it was very early days, right? It was like I remember one of our questions were, "Can you sell?" And they were using Magic Eden, so it was kind of tough. But they've grown so much since we talked to them back then. It was awesome to see the Coinbase Ventures is sticking their sticking their toe into Runes, but not just Runes, into Sats Terminal, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, and they did a great job with Draper University, I believe, was it? So congratulations to them. But yeah, it makes me realize that other large institutions within our industry, they're paying attention to Bitcoin runes and the ecosystem. And who knows, this entire time that like Solana has been going nuts last year and this year, we haven't been in a full blown like bull market. Maybe they've been holding the secret weapon for the blow off the top season. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, without further ado, let's bring them up. What's up, guys? Welcome to OnChain Revolution.
Hello.
How you doing?
Guys?
Stan, you're on mute.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! I'm such a boomer.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How about you guys?
Doing well. First of all, congratulations on your raise. That's a big deal. Especially during a time to where people are definitely looking to invest in solid projects, but they're being picky. And for you guys to really accomplish that and come out of Draper University, which you guys did, right? I'm not mistaken with that.
Yeah.
It was Draper Associates, not University.
Oh, okay. Draper Associates. But yeah, congrats. And how have things been, since you guys have finished that round and then also, continually building? How have things been?
Before we say anything, I gotta say thank you guys for that amazing fucking introduction. It was so bullish. It was very nice to hear that intro. So thank you for that. And yeah, I remember when we met in Nashville. It was like such a long time ago now, it feels like. And we were doing something so different back then. But yeah, we've come a long way since then. And that's fucking amazing that we're to be here and like be on the show again to talk about this. So yeah.
Well,
appreciate the shout out in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. And we got to meet Cyclops too, which is a part of y'all's team, right? And that was really, really cool. My first question to kick things off, let's start with Stan. For Coinbase Ventures, or the people that did invest in you guys, they must have been bullish on runes, because that's the whole kind of thing that you guys are building around, right? Am I right with that? And also, what's the sentiment of the Bitcoin ecosystem with these investors? If you could start it off.
Yeah, so I think investors are overall bullish in everything that's happening on Bitcoin, whether that would be runes or like couple of weeks ago, like big lending protocol got 30 million round. DeFi projects in Bitcoin are getting funding as well. So there is a lot of interest in Bitcoin DeFi overall. But also you see last week how many bullish news we got on the Rune side, like the Slingshot acquisition. Of course, that's only making things, I wouldn't say very easy, but slightly easier for projects probably to find that funding. It's still so much more harder than in other ecosystems, in my opinion, because it's very, very early. But a lot of OG investors, like big firms that have like billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, they're very much interested and they're observing the space. Even though we closed, for example, pre-seed, announced it like last week, we're still getting interest to like some of the best VC firms there. So I guess to answer it short, very positive. Definitely very positive.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Take us back a little bit, if you guys don't mind. When we met in Nashville, like I said, you guys were doing a totally different project, right? You're allowing people to buy stuff on X and stuff like that. Could you kind of take us in the early days of that project and into what Sats Terminal is?
You want to go into early days?
Early days,
just go short. Go short.
Maybe the pivot point, like up into the.
Well, just so anyone who wasn't paying attention back then could maybe grasp of where you guys came and how far you guys came.
Yeah, I could like quickly embarrass Stan, and then we can talk about how do we end up where we are.
Do this.
No, but what I mean is like, so this was like back in December 23, so like that's a while back now. Stan had just met me in Argentina, and then he was back in Barcelona, and I was telling him about BRC20s and how I was very bullish on some BRC20s, and then I was like, bro, you should get in on this, go and buy some, and he's like, fuck it, let me do this. And he goes in and tries to buy some BRC20s. But similar to runes, you had to pick lots while buying them. And instead of picking lots worth $3,000, he ended up picking a singular lot worth $3,000.
Let's go.
Those stray listings that people just make, hoping one day someone will accidentally buy them. So Stan was the person who accidentally bought them. So if you look at the price chart of that token, it's like some number, like I think it was like $200-$300, and then boom, $3,000, and then back down. So I was like, oh shit, Stan, was that you? And it was just because the UX was just so terrible. And then I'm like, well, this is clearly like a 10 to 100x improvement that you can bring to the space by just making the buying UX better. And like very obviously, going from $3,000 to like $3, like the actual price, it's like a big difference, right? So first we thought we could do this by like making trading more accessible through like Twitter or like other social platforms. But in doing so, we very quickly realized, like speaking to people that would be using it, that the scope was too narrow. A lot of people had a lot of hesitations about having additional Chrome extensions. A lot of people were trading on their mobile or using other browsers that would not support this, or they would use X as an application, and then it wouldn't work. So there was a lot of reasons why we'd not be able to find any form of PMF there. But in building that, we'd already built tech to make swapping better. So we're like, hold on, why don't we just spin this out as a separate project and actually just make a swap interface that's like easy to use and clean? Because that didn't exist anywhere. So we just ended up like doubling down on that, and got a lot of interest early on from users just because it was so much easier to use than existing platforms, and really focused on making that swap experience progressively better, first with buys and then later sells. And we're still improving. We still have a long way to go from what we'd want the ideal swap experience and trade experience to be, but we're slowly getting there and trying to make improvements as we go along.
Yeah, but just to add 2 cents to this, I literally remember the exact pivot day. That was like, I think 8th of September. We talked about the DEX aggregator, and we did like our first front-end prototype without all of the integrations, without all of the backend. Literally in one day, we showed it to a couple of people that were very, very close to us. And we thought, this is the thing, we want to build it. And here we are.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think it's exactly like we need a dominating DEX aggregator for Bitcoin fungibles. And, you guys are shaping to be that. And, from our last conversation with Cyclops was that you guys are doing this from every level, right? So an example would be like, okay, if you guys, if the only order is available on Magic Eden, you'll grab it from there. If there's liquidity available, you guys grab it from there. All these things. So for the future, like we're seeing a lot of like runes being put like on Solana, on Cardano, on these other chains. Are you guys planning to aggregate those ecosystems as well?
Like, Stan, do you want to comment on that?
I mean, I just wanted to connect. Definitely not right now. It's definitely not like in the roadmap to do it right now. We want to do everything on Bitcoin. We're Bitcoin maxis, sort of. Sort of. But yeah, we want to build everything on Bitcoin. It's the most secure chain. So I think for now we will stay with that. With that narrative. I don't know, maybe you, Rishabh, have anything?
No, like we're, this, we're 100% aligned on this because like other ecosystems have aggregators native to that ecosystem. And it's very much a solved problem. Like if you're in Solana, you're very happy using Jupiter. And it wouldn't make sense for us to try and compete in that space. That's one aspect of it. And then we just want to make sure that we understand and build the best DEX aggregator on Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin evolves with OPCAT or other opcodes coming up, that we're at the forefront of aggregation on that front too, and evolving past runes to maybe exploring yield farming and borrowing, etc. as well, like a few other products coming out. And like one last thing in this topic is like we like to Stan's point of us being Bitcoin maxis, we really see the need to have more transactions happening on mainnet, and whatever we can do to help that happen, because at the end of the day, that contributes to Bitcoin's security budget. So we just find like a greater mission in contributing to that. So whatever we want to build, we want to have some element of those transactions always happening on mainnet, even if later down the line we are evolving to like more complex transactions happening cross chain. But a part of it should always be on mainnet.
Yeah, like a roll up situation or something like that you guys could participate in. So like something like Arch, which does kick back transactions to Bitcoin mainnet, you guys would be okay with that? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we're excited to work with Saturn. Whenever they go mainnet, like we definitely add them on as a swap route as well. And I think Middle's another one that also goes through mainnet. We'd love to add them on as well when the time is right. Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's talk about this amazing. First off, I mean, I love black and silver, and I love it. Like, if you guys are gonna make something for me, this is perfect. I love the design. I love how sleek it looks. Right, it looks phenomenal. But that's the front end. Could you guys tell me about the back end first? Maybe explain what an aggregator is, and then go into who you guys are actually aggregating.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, well, firstly, I'm glad that you like the front end. I had a long debate with yeah, that makes sense. I had a long debate with Salobs because he was like, "You need to make dark theme default," because light theme was default for the longest time, and I fought him over it for very long. But I think I should have done this sooner. So sorry, Cyclops. Yeah, and regarding how the aggregator works, basically, when you put in an amount to try and buy runes, what we do is we fetch orders from all of the dexes. Like this would be RuneSwap, .swap, Magic Eden, OKX, Unisat, and also we had Odin Swap in the past. And we would compare the pricing across all of them for the size of your order. And if it's one of the order book marketplaces, instead of you having to manually pick the listings, and what we do is we implemented like a pretty sophisticated algorithm to pick the best bundles out of all of the listings. So you get the most possible output runes every time. So we're optimizing for getting the most output runes while having the least possible outputs, because if you have more outputs, then to some extent it's contributing to the amount of fees you're paying. So we're optimizing for two of those, fetching orders from all of the marketplaces, and if it's an order book marketplace, constructing it so out of that order book you get the most possible runes. And we're also wary of the slippage from the floor price. So if a floor price is at Magic Eden is X, we try not to go over X plus 10 or 15% depending on the size of your order again, so that overall you get like the best, most biggest output. And compared to any other front ends, like if you fetch a quote for like a big amount of runes for dog or any of the other popular runes, then we always strive to like get you the most output. And I think we've delivered on that pretty consistently so far.
Nice. So I know you guys are focused on runes right now quite a bit, right? Let's say that BRC 2.0 comes out and they become, popular, fungible. Is that something you guys are open to integrating as well?
Yeah, like we actually have a lot of the tech for this already built out. We're just sitting on it right now for like better market timing to launch it. Like we don't want to launch it and have no one transact on it. But so that's why we've just been planning the rollout. We've had a lot of announcements the past few weeks, so we're waiting for the right timing to basically put out BRC 20s. And I mean, already right now, I'm on some marketplaces, even the old BRC 20s 1.0 have pretty good volume. So we've been thinking about how we can sort of even help people trade those better.
Yeah, we literally have a call about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we noticed OKX's platform and some other platforms are still pushing out like pretty good volume that people would be shocked to see. So that's cool. So like for you guys, it's kind of like it doesn't matter which fungible standard is, says they're going to win. It's whatever the Bitcoin community wants, right? Is that how you view it?
100%. Of course, we're an aggregator. We don't pick sides. We just give the best trading experience. We can't be biased. So if there will be Yagobi 20 standard, we will even integrate that.
I'm gonna create that just so you guys know.
LFG, let's do it.
He's not gonna know. He's not.
They're
gonna
all
know.
billion dollar market caps, all of them. No.
Yeah.
All right, let's kind of get into this. So let's get. This is your X account, AdStats Terminal, and you have some bio now. Backed by CB Ventures, Draper, UTXO Management, Sats Ventures, Daper Dragon. How does this happen? We know a lot of teams that would absolutely love one of these guys, but you have like 4. And I can't imagine who else you guys have who you're in talks with. But can you guys maybe walk us through the process of this? I don't even know what you call this, right? So
I definitely happy to share. Also, shout out to our other investors who are also except the people that you have in the bio. We also have Tensor Capital. We also have Delta Blockchain Fund. Shout out to Core Chain Ventures, and we have an amazing list of angels from, I think, one of the best projects in Bitcoin space and outside of Bitcoin space, including like MoonPay, Phantom Wallet. We have guys from Pantera Capital. So we managed to amass, I think, one of the best cap tables from the recent fundraisers. I think maybe in April, maybe even this quarter. Who knows?
I feel like that was like your wait, there's more moment, right? Because I mean, you just never Pantera. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, no, but you can't add everyone to the bio because it would look weird. So we have to say and more. But like, big shout out. We love our investors. I think all of them are amazing. They're helping us so much. I think we started raising our angel round in mid-September. By November, we closed it. It was a tiny round, only 160,000, and we got a couple of our first angel investors, also some of the good names in the space. And right after, we got accepted to the Bitcoin Fi Accelerator, which I highly recommend for all the other projects or young founders who are watching this podcast to go and apply. They're doing right now the second batch. It's already live, but I'm certain they will be doing next batches as well. So we got into Accelerator, but we did not stop there. We did a lot of conversations and like with all of the VCs, we never stopped talking to them. And we did not really follow like this classic, like standard playbook where you have 1,000 contacts, you outreach them, send them cold emails and stuff like that. We knew who we wanted to have on cap table, and we were just discussing, okay, how do we get these guys? What should we do to get them? Like what they like, what they invested. We did our due diligence, and at the end of the day, I was even checking like my VC CRM. I think we had something like 40% success rate. So from all of the contacts we have in the CRM, 40% in the end converted. And for angels, it was almost 100%. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 angels that decided not to pursue this opportunity, and bad for them. I think they made the biggest mistake in their life. But
I love it.
I think it's just you want to come prepared. You want to know your investor as well. You don't go to the call and you're like pitching something that they don't care. For example, you can always go and check their portfolios. And then let's say you're building an aggregator. You see they already have an aggregator. Probably that will not be a good fit for you already. Or if you go to them, you pitch something else. You say, hey, we're an aggregator, but also here is the plans that we have. And eventually we'll position ourselves as, something different. So I think it's just a matter of right preparation for real.
So you're doing your due diligence on them as they're doing their due diligence on you, trying to make sure it's the right fit. Sometimes, a lot of projects out there, they'll take the first dollar that drops on the table, right? So I love that. So my next question would be, what do you think these investors see in you guys? Why are they like jumping in headfirst into the Bitcoin ecosystem first, and then you guys second?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think more than us, that's just a function of Bitcoin. Like I think this is very much like us picking the right ecosystem to build in. Bitcoin is like harder to build on compared to other chains, and it's something that most people were fading. It's easy to go where mindshare is. Like everybody in the past year was building on Solana, so it's very easy to flock there. But choosing to build on Bitcoin is probably what helped us as well get a nice cap table, as it was. And the investors also know that sometimes it makes more sense to not pick the most obvious bet and look at, when there's spot in the market, it means that might be a right time to get in. And I think it was more a function of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of people building on Bitcoin, but they chose you guys, right?
Yeah, that's I can add on that. I think in the end of the day, like when you're raising your first big round, pre-seed round, a big chunk of the success would be who's working on that project. And I think like, I mean, I don't want to be patting ourselves on the back and saying, "Oh, we were so good, we were so good." I think we just had the right combination. Like Rishab is the technical genius. He knows how to build everything. You can tell him, "Hey, I need like this crazy ass DeFi product to be done in 1 week." He would tell you, "No, bro, I'll come back to you in 6 hours." And I think that's amazing. So we operate always with sense of urgency. Let's say like last week I was in Paris blockchain week. There was one fund that wanted to meet us, and they're like, "Okay, let's have a call next week." I'm like, "No, I'm here. Like, let's meet in an hour. Maybe you can come to the side event where I'm at. Like, let's have a coffee or a beer or something." So you want to always operate with sense of urgency. Yeah, and maybe to add like also towards like on myself, I have a lot of like operational experience. So I was running exchanges. I was working with bigger companies like Bitcoin.com. I was running operations for big European exchanges that are partnered with top football clubs and stuff like that. So I think in the end of the day, we had that combination. Like here you have a guy who can do the housekeeping and make sure that we don't spend too much money. We know how to negotiate salaries. We know how to do operation stuff and things like that. And then we have someone who can build top-notch product. So I think that's the combo.
That's a great answer. Great answer.
Yeah. No, I think you answered that perfectly, and you guys pretty much cover every area that's needed. And, to show investors that you guys have a strong team, that's the most important thing. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome that you guys were able to do that. Okay, so what would you say the next thing from like the Bitcoin ecosystem community that's watching? We got 406 people watching this stream right now live, and plus some of these other platforms. What would you say they should be excited about next for Sats Terminal?
Coming integrations, first of all. So there are a couple of things. I wish I could say that right now. I really want to say it, but I can't. I can't because they will come to us and they would say, "No, Sats Terminal, why you did it? Oh my God!" So I can't. But like, believe me, it's not a April 14 joke or something. We are having a couple of really big integrations coming on the DEX aggregator side, and also like we've spent a little bit of time to build out some of other products that we want to put into Sats Terminal, because Sats Terminal is not only the DEX aggregator for runes. We want to have a full platform where you can have all of the DeFi opportunities on Bitcoin, so user can come and generate more Sats, whether through swapping runes or staking their Bitcoin or doing some other DeFi activity. So we're working on that side. And I think April and especially May would be extremely big months for us. So maybe Rishab can, I'm not sure also if we want to talk too much about the products that are being built, but maybe you can give a little bit of alpha to the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I'm very open about whatever we're building. So yeah, no, but like Stan said, we do totally plan to expand beyond tech as well, beyond runes as well. So we're really eyeing the borrow market right now. We see a lot of opportunity in borrowing against Bitcoin and build on it. We think existing solutions are like simply put, if you were to ask someone who's never done it before, how do you borrow USD against your Bitcoin? The likelihood of them knowing where to go and what terms are good terms are super low, which is very similar to the problem that we saw with runes, where if you ask someone where to buy runes, they wouldn't know how to get started and where to get the best prices. So we just see a similar opportunity in the borrow market, and I'll just say that we're pursuing it very aggressively. So in the coming weeks, coming hopefully. I would say days, but then I don't think we're like marketing would allow me to do that. So weeks. We'll have like some big announcements on that front as well, just to let people like, well, I guess save in Bitcoin and be able to get dollars against it, and later on also earn some yield on it. So get yield on your Bitcoin. Those are the sort of I guess markets we're eyeing right now, and like pursuing pretty aggressively.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Borrowing, lending, aggregation. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. There's nothing more, I think, attractive than making a user experience more convenient and efficient. So excited about that for y'all.
100%. And recently we saw a huge acquisition from Majid, and they purchased Slingshot, which really slingshot a lot of the runes up, because now we're pretty confident that BTC meme coins will now be on Slingshot, the app that you can use your debit card, your credit card to buy assets, right? I'm curious your guys' opinion on that, and does that benefit you guys at all?
Take it. Take it, Rishabh.
No. I mean, like, I'll just say, like, we're working closely with Magic Eden, so I think we'll see how things go in the coming weeks as well. And overall, like, like the secondary benefits are very like obvious. Like if that comes in and runes does well, then eventually people will also start using Sats terminal directly to buy runes. But the way we work together primarily, I think we'll find out in like the coming weeks.
Well, a lot of people are talking about the liquidity availability, which has been a struggle. Do you think it helps that a lot?
Definitely, more users will come, so that will generate like organic liquidity. That's for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Awesome.
Is there anything that you guys want to jump into? Anything that you guys have on your mind that you'd like to get out to the audience?
I think I have a lot of stuff in work. Like we had a big sync today with the marketing team, but all of the stuff is like on the last stages, like couple of days. I usually like to talk too much, and that's my problem. I usually tell our marketing secrets very quickly. I'm like, folding quickly under pressure. You just ask me, oh, what's on the table, and I'm telling you everything. But this time, everyone asked me, like, Stan, please don't talk too much. Let us finish. Let us deploy the campaigns and all of this stuff. I think, we are doing some work on the quest side as well. We want to release like a big map with quests so people can farm Ember, and potentially those people that would be farming Ember, they could yield good rewards with Sats terminal later down the line. But we will be talking about it more comprehensively in like much better way through our X, posting threads and videos and stuff like that. And some of the stuff will go live this week, and then next week. And also, I think on Wednesday, we're planning to launch a bug bounty campaign. So we want to also get developers from the Bitcoin space to go and help us to make Sats terminal a better place to be, even though we're using the best security practices, and gladly we have people that have experience building robust secure systems. And more news to come in the next couple of days, and a couple of big integrations that are in the final steps.
Gotcha. Nice. Love it. This next segment we like to call F off Shizzy. So feel free at any point to say F off Shizzy. I'm not answering that, but is there any? Do you guys are going to offer any point system or anything like that from using the Sats terminal that would involve incentivizing people using this?
I was actually gonna literally just now say that, Stan, we should talk about Amber Point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you click on the little Amber diamond thing on the UI, with you have your wallet connected already, right, so here you should see it like next to the there you go. So right now that only shows you how many Amber points you have, and as you do transactions, that number is gonna go up. I think every 1,000 Sats you spend, you get like 1 Amber. If I remember,
that's true. That's true.
And Yeah, so it's like an amazing opportunity to farm Amber points, especially if you're trading on like platforms like DotSwap, RuneSex, or Magic Eden, because you're going to be getting like the same input and output, but on top of that, you're going to be getting from Sats terminal. So this is like a good time where it's still going to be executing on the same like decks that you might have been using before, if that's the best price, but you have the additional benefit of earning some Amber now. And we don't add any fees on top of any of the traditional AMMs, so it's not like you're paying extra to earn Amber. It's just the rational thing to do would be maybe farm it this way. So also on this pop-up, very soon we'll be replacing, instead of just seeing how many Amber points you have, you'll be seeing a quest campaign where you'll be able to engage either with our community or actually with partner projects communities to farm some of these points as well. To basically, we want to encourage people to talk about the runes and Bitcoin ecosystem more through their social presence, and in doing so, we want to incentivize them. So that's something that we'll be coming out with pretty soon as well. Yeah.
Love it. Amber points. I love it. That's okay. That's what you meant earlier. Awesome. I had no idea about this. Like, we'll definitely start pushing that for you guys, because that's just something that's awesome. And I'm curious, right? Because we know that like Runes decks, they're going to do an airdrop thing. They have a point system as well. By using you guys, and that's to say you guys aggregate through them with the best price, I'm actually earning double the points, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little thing that Rashab said about how you guys don't charge anything on top of the transaction fee from the original platform, or did I mishear that?
On the AMMs, like if you're executing on DotSwap or Runes decks, nothing additional.
Gotcha.
On Magic Eden, there's a small fee on top, like that comes to us, but just to like construct that order. But on the other ones, there is nothing on top at all.
That's awesome. That's awesome
Yeah.
that you guys do that, because like you could easily just squeeze that in there. But yeah, that's awesome that you guys do that. But man, been an amazing segment. It's been a while since we had you guys on, so kind of relearning your past and then now where you guys are and all that great stuff, and can't wait to get you guys on again. But we always love to get unless Shizzy, do you have anything else for them?
No, I was just gonna say I just did a swap right now. It was really
let's
smooth.
go.
Swap confirmed. So let's go, guys. Amazing.
More
Having fun with
Amber.
some of your,
More Amber.
We're getting some of that Amber. I wish I would have known about this, man. I would have been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Let me go add some Amber manually.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, also, guys, there's referral bonuses. So if you refer somebody and they start farming Amber through your referral link, you get a kickback on all the Amber.
You
they
get
earned.
more
Like,
Amber? Oh
yeah,
my
like
gosh.
10% of the Amber they earn, you get as well if you referred somebody that's trading with your ref link.
Awesome.
So yeah, we probably should send you that ref link very soon.
Yeah.
I'll send it
we'll
after
put it
the
in
call
our
so
bio.
you guys have that. Yeah.
Definitely send it over to us, because we'll utilize that. And for the audience, we'll, if we're able to, we'll pass it on to you guys so you can tell your mom, your grandma, your whoever else to get you some Amber points. But it's been an amazing show, and we always like to give kind of a final word to our guests, to our audience that's listening in. 451 people right now. So any final words to them? Maybe something to look forward to or whatever. The stage is yours. We'll start with you, Rashab.
I want to shout out Ricky the Raccoon. Like we got a new mascot now.
Let's go.
He's our new dev. He is incredibly inappropriate on social media.
There he is.
But
Can I play this?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me get the sound ready. All right.
Yeah.
So real quick though, what is he? what is
The
he?
raccoon.
Our new hire.
Okay, it's a new hire.
Yeah.
It's a new hire.
I
right.
found him from the forests of India. Yeah, he works for us now.
All right, let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you hear it? Hear it?
Yes.
I see Amber. I get hard.
Oh,
And when I earn Amber, I get even harder.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do is make some spells to get people to see Amber. And then they'll get hard. And then they'll get even harder when they earn the Amber. And then if we all are hard for Amber, runes will pump. Let's fucking go.
NSFW. No, I'm just kidding. That was pretty. Interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was an interesting interview when you hired him. But
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, he's incredibly inappropriate. And yeah, if you check out the other videos with Ricky as well, he's very cute. He's just bull posting runes all the time. We should let him do his thing. So yeah, that's our mascot. He gives you amber and talks about runes.
yeah. Nice to meet him. But all right, let's finish it off with Stan. Final words for you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. I hope that next time when we will be at this show, we will show some other products that are right now in the works. And yeah, we have a lot of plans also for the next steps for SATS Terminal. We're getting users, we're releasing our products. And I think eventually we will also start working on our bigger round in the next couple of months. So stay tuned. There's a lot of work and our backlog is pretty hefty busy, but I think in the next couple of months you will see more and more stuff from our side. So yeah, just stay tuned. Please farm Ember. Don't fade Ricky. He's a cool guy. And thanks again for having us, guys.
Yeah, man. And real quick, if you guys ever have any alpha and need a place to drop it, hit us up. Come on, 15. We go live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. You know what I mean? So you guys can hop on whenever you guys want and drop some like alpha. Our community would absolutely love that. So open invitation.
We'll do it 100%. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Yeah,
guys.
Bye.
Absolutely amazing to have those guys on, man. SATS Terminal, if you don't know who they are, you guys know now. Start getting that Amber. I had no idea about the Amber. Definitely something that I will be getting involved with, and hopefully I can earn double the points with RuneStacks, because that's one of the places that they aggregate. So win all around. Shizzy, Eric getting those airdrops. I need those airdrops. But thank you guys, man. Really appreciate all 469 you guys on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Abstract, Rumble, and Twitch, and Spotify.
Yep. We appreciate all of you guys, as always. Because of you guys, we are able to do this, and we appreciate that so much. And we also appreciate our partners, because they're kind of the second half of that allows us to do that. So if you wouldn't mind checking them out, that would be a big favor for us. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for ordinals on Bitcoin Layer 1. You're going to be able to jump your frogs, your node monks, your wizards to Merlin, to Abstract, to Base, eventually to Solana. And you're going to be able to use their Agent Hustle, which is their AI smart wallet. He's going to be able to vault those things for you once it's all coming together there. And also don't forget about their TGE, because they do have a rune that they're going to be having a TGE for in September. And you can participate in a pre-sale type environment on OpenSea right now. If you go and search Emblem Vault Founder Keys, you can purchase those, and you'll have them in your MetaMask as their ERC 721. But once it comes to the TGE, they're going to give you instructions to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. So pretty cool, new, innovative way that they're doing this pre-sale type of environment there. You can learn all about this at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start participating in their markets right away. They have their Blitz markets where you can kind of short and long Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana. You're given 10 minutes to select the price you want to lock in. I suggest waiting till it gets close to that 1 minute range, so you don't get stuck with something at like 6-7 minutes. You can kind of get more of a closer call there, and then it takes an additional 10 minutes to see if you won or lost. And if you won, you get paid out right away, because the market is done at that point. But they have some really cool features coming, guys, like Bet with Friends, where you can challenge each other. There's a whole social kind of community aspect that integrates with it, and super exciting stuff with these guys. You can learn all about this at betbtc.win. And Autura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They'll be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 very soon. Hemi is actually backed by Binance Labs, so they have a lot of backing there. But you're going to be able to long and short and take positions with Bitcoin synthetic fungibles like Sats, Ordi, Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion Cat, and eventually tokens that are popular outside of the ecosystem like XRP, Tau, Ethereum. super exciting, guys. And right now, just go to their testnet so you can get familiarized with the platform before they go mainnet. And you can actually, once you make one transaction, your address gets thrown into a raffle to get a little something, a part of their future TGE there. But also, you can earn with their passive vault staking to provide liquidity for the platform as well. Learn all about this at Autura.finance. And we always talk about the UTXO Wizard devs from Fluid Tokens. They're constantly building. They started on Cardano. They're still building on Cardano, but they have really made a big splash in the Bitcoin ecosystem. The first to offer staking vaults to retail users on Bitcoin Layer 1. Right now, I think there's no open vaults because all of them have closed up, but they are constantly adding. So if you have a ordinal collection that you started, or you etched a rune with an established community, you can go over to their Discord and ask them how to get a staking vault set up. They have a team that's there ready to answer all your questions. Also, don't forget, they are building the Aquarium interoperability bridging between Bitcoin and Cardano, and they're going to have their FLDT rune, which is going to be a 1-to-1 with their FLDT Cardano token. So guys, there's so much happening with this team. Make sure you're just following them. Go to their Discord, join their community. They're going to be huge for a very long time. You can go to fluidtokens.com to learn more there. And Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1, you want your protocol to be a bit more seamless, quick, and fast, and you want to build on Merlin Chain, just build over there. They have great builder support. And if you're a retail user, you can swap for Doggo to the Moon at merlinswap.org. And lastly, if you want to help secure the chain with the proof of stake protocol there, you can use your Merlin Chain tokens and earn 15% APR as you stake those. And they're going to be adding Bitcoin soon as well. And don't forget, they're going to be upgrading their Wizard AI to 0.3, which is going to allow you to do so much more as an AI assistant with Merlin Chain altogether there. You can learn all about this at merlinchain.io. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And I believe we have the first date next Tuesday, back at it, live streaming again for the Clan Wars there. It's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern. Everybody's invited. All you need is a supported wallet. So all the Bitcoin wallets, and I believe MetaMask and Phantom possibly. Make sure you join. It's a fun time. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator ordinal marketplace for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. Cheapest ordinals around will be at Ordinal Hive. And don't forget about their trading tools like live mempool insights, guys. You can snag something that someone mispriced by accident. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN. That's Nord. That's my opinion. I've used every VPN out there, and I always come back to Nord. There's free ones out there, but Nord is $3 if you use our link. $3 a month to use our link. I think I paid $37 for the year. Set it, forget it, and then just wait for the next payment because I love it. And what it does is when I go to these websites, I'm not giving them my IP. I know you guys know when you log in your Amazon or your Google, it tells you exactly where you are. Like for me, it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's how I know that I forgot to put it in Sweden or El Salvador or wherever I want to, whatsoever server I want to use that day. I highly recommend you guys use a NordVPN. If you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 at Las Vegas, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, but do not wait till May to get your tickets. Get them as soon as possible, guys. They're going to go up every Friday. Every Friday in May, they're going to go up. I'm surprised that they're not higher today than they were yesterday at this point. I think like every Friday they go up. It's all about supply and demand. And when the supply gets lower and the demand gets higher, the price goes up, guys, just like Bitcoin. So definitely want to get your tickets as soon as possible. If you guys need merch for that event or any event, you still have time. Anything you buy today will definitely get there on time for that event. We got Billy Cats. Go there, guys. Show the maxis that you're rocking the best gear, whether that's a panda shirt. We got puppets. We got Billy Cats, and we got so much more, guys. Just go up here. You can click hoodies or t-shirts. It's t-shirt weather, so definitely check out all of our t-shirts. So these t-shirts, Order Revolution, they're going away. They're going to be replaced by OnChain Revolution t-shirts. But if we ever go to an event and see you guys there and you're rocking the Ordinal Revolution, first off, we're going to buy you a beer. And second off, we're going to have some prizes to give away as well. So definitely, if you guys are rocking these shirts, these are a limited time, guys. They'll never be sold ever again by us. So highly recommend you guys getting them if you're interested. And we got so much other stuff. We got a bitmap shirt. We got runes. We got so much more, guys. Check everything out here at onchainrevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.